There is a lot to learn about Disney World planning. Here are 10 things most first-time planners don't know. So if you are new to Disney World planning, you might find that there is a lot that you are learning as you go. And I want to make sure in this video to cover 10 things that a lot of first timers don't know so you can learn it before you head to Disney World for your first trip. Number one, Disney has its own language. So if you are in any online Disney communities, you may likely see abbreviations or acronyms or terms for things that you have never heard of. We do our best to try to use both so that we are explaining what it is, but also telling you what the shortcut is, especially in written form. But this is something you'll definitely need to learn. If you don't know what something means, you can Google it, or we have a glossary on the site of common terms that you'll find in Disney communities. But that's number one, you're gonna learn a new language. Number two, planning and making reservations is a must. Now, I have traveled all over the world and enjoy the trip planning process, but nothing still has required the amount of work that Disney World has. So as long as you can wrap your brain around that, it will make the experience a lot more pleasant. Namely, you are going to want to make park pass reservations, which is where you define which park you're going to go into every day of your trip. That is something that you can do after you've purchased park tickets. It is free, but it's just something you need to book ahead of time because they do sell out. Another is dining reservations. So you don't want to show up at Disney World without reservations for some of the most popular places, especially. Those open up 60 days beforehand, and so you'll want to do that. If you have 60 days, you want to make it 60 days out so that you have your best chance of getting it. It's all very competitive, which can be either thrilling to some people or very overwhelming to others, but either way, it is a fact of Disney World trip planning. 3, there is no gum sold anywhere at Walt Disney World. And in fact, it's not sold in a lot of places in Orlando, including the airport. So if gum is important to you, you will want to bring your own. However, just make sure you dispose of it properly, because the reason they don't have it for sale is because of the mess. So make sure you throw it in the trash and not stick it underneath a table to make it harder for the cast members to clean up. Number 4 is that Disney World transportation will likely take longer than you expect. Now, this is due to the size of the place, but if you've never been there, you would not know how big it is. But just plan on at least 60 minutes getting to and from anywhere, and up to 90 minutes sometimes, depending on where you are starting and where you are going. But just make sure you build that into your plans and don't schedule too many things back to back. That would make it hard to get there. Number 5, the Boardwalk area exists. Now, this is kind of a hidden pocket if you don't know it's there. There are 2 entrances to Epcot. One is the front gate, the main entrance, and the other is the International Gateway, which is at the back between the UK and France pavilions. And outside that International Gateway is a whole area called the Boardwalk area, which has resorts and restaurants, as well as the Skyliner station that will take you to Epcot and the Boardwalk area. So this is an area that you may not know about if someone hadn't told you, but it does have some great dining options and is worth seeing if you want to take a little break from the parks. Number 6, Disney World is huge. Specifically, it is over 40 square miles, which is about the size of San Francisco, twice the size of Manhattan. By comparison, Disneyland is 500 acres. It looks very, very tiny by comparison. And this is important because that will just show you how spread out everything can be. So I already talked about transportation and how long it takes to get from point A to point B. And this is why it is a really, really big area. And so you'll just want to keep that in mind during your trip around Disney World. Number 7 is that you can trade pins with cast members and other guests. So one of the most fun things about being in the Disney parks niche is that there are so many sort of sub niches within it, and one of those is pin trading. So you can go to Disney World with a starter set of your own. A lot of people get them on eBay or other places online, and you can walk up to cast members and ask to trade with them to get other pins, or you can walk up to other guests in the parks and you do that. And so it can become sort of a fun task or hobby during your Disney World trips that might be fun to participate in if that is something that appeals to your group. Number 8, Disney Parks, Disney World specifically, has an app that is a free app that is used for almost everything. It is called My Disney Experience. Within this app, you can look at wait times on attractions. You can order food, you can buy Genie Plus and book lightning lanes, etc. I cannot imagine doing a Disney World trip without it. And so we highly recommend that you not only download it before your trip, but you start navigating it and getting used to it, because it is something that nearly everyone uses during their trip. So you'll want to make sure you kind of know where to find things. There are some things that are going to be hard to practice beforehand. Specifically, some of the functionality in the resort section won't open up until you are there. And also there's a lot of the Genie Plus information will be difficult to practice beforehand, but it will open up once you purchase Genie Plus and you are at Disney World. But do as much as you can beforehand so that it's not all new during your trip, and won't have to spend too much time searching for what you need. Number 9, adults and older kids can ride things even when little ones don't want to or aren't tall enough. There is a system called Rider Switch at Disney World where you can take turns riding things while somebody waits with a little one who can't or won't ride. The way that you do this is that you walk up to a cast member at an attraction, you tell them that you need Rider Switch, and they will give you your tickets or your magic bands, and they will load a pass on it so that the second group to ride can do it with a Rider Switch pass that they have scanned onto your account. If you have one person that wants to ride in both group 1 and group 2, like an older child, for instance, that is possible and is one of the best perks of the Rider Switch system. And number 10, you will suffer from Disney withdrawals, especially if you really enjoy the planning process. I have often likened Disney World planning to wedding planning because it is so immersive for months and months. There's a lot of money involved, a lot of planning. Then you have this one event, and then what? And so I always think that after a big event like this, that you need to figure out what you're going to do when you get back. I will tell you that before it was my job, my way of dealing with that was just making sure my next trip is already booked so that I can move on to that one. But you might have other things that you want to occupy your time. But just know that it's a very real thing, especially if you spend a lot of time on planning, and prepare yourself ahead of time. So that is 10 things that we think most first timers don't know. I'm sure there are many more that are possible. If you are new to planning, we have so many resources for people, including a crowd calendar, great infographics on Genie Plus so that you know what to book, etc. And I'm going to link to all of those in the description. Please feel free to add your own things that you think people need to know before their first trip. Look forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching.